Hidden deep in a canyon with high cliff walls and a clear mountain stream lies a destination reminiscent of something out of an old western. This timeless place, known for its beauty and unique healing properties, has been a place of refreshing and renewal as far back as the very first inhabitants of this region. The first to discover this canyon were Native Americans from branches of the Maidu tribe, who traversed the ridges and the paths along Mud Creek on foot. Historical accounts reveal that both the Yana or Kumbo tribe as well as the Otaki spent time in Mud Creek Canyon at times contending for control of the healing waters that bubbled up at the edge of Mud Creek. According to an account published by the Butte County Historical Society, these two tribes fought for possession of the mineral waters at Richardson Springs. The mud was used for healing cuts, bruises, and wounds, and the water of the springs was used to cure a form of tuberculosis and skin diseases. People even came and used it to cure arthritis. Its curative properties were worth fighting for. Evidence in the canyon reveals locations of Maidu tribal huts, grinding rocks, and even lookout points. By the time the Richardson brothers settled at the springs in the early 1870s, the conflicts between the Indians were over. However, the native people continued to enjoy the mineral waters, which they did in harmony with other visitors and the new residents here. In the early 1870s, the Richardson brothers moved to the valley and established a partnership that obtained 5,000 acres in the canyon, which was used primarily for cattle ranching. According to the writings by Larry Richardson, the brothers allowed locals to come and camp on the property, swim in the creek, and soak in the mineral waters. Originally, the brothers had no thought of developing a commercial enterprise or resort. They saw the mineral waters as nothing more than an odd feature of the landscape. However, many people across the nation at that time believed that mineral waters had healing properties. As more and more people settled in the Chico area and heard of the mineral waters, they were eager to come for a visit. In 1897, Jared Richardson was able to convince his reluctant brothers to open a boarding house to provide food and lodging for the guests. The popularity of the springs grew so quickly that a year later he opened a hotel with office, kitchen, dining hall, and 14 rental rooms, as well as 25 rental cottages on the grounds. By 1903, the brothers were becoming too old to run cattle on the rough terrain and decided to dissolve their partnership. The lot for the springs fell to Redmond Richardson. Although it was not at all his desire, his good business sense, coupled with his wife Alice's diplomatic but decisive executive ability, led to the growth and prosperity of the springs. Since the resort opened, reaching the springs has always required a journey along Mud Creek up Richardson Springs Road. A World War I era California travel guide describes an excellent automobile road running from Chico to Richardson Mineral Springs. In 1917, one of the earliest and only accounts of the road itself was found in the minutes of the Butte County Board of Supervisors meeting. For reasons lost to history, Redmond Richardson requested that the county abandon the road. In 1919, the management announced a remodeling program and had it well underway when, at the height of the season in August 1921, a fire destroyed the hotel, the annex, and the dormitory for the Chinese kitchen crew. Reconstruction commenced immediately, and the present hotel was completed May 1924. As the result of another fire that destroyed several more buildings, the grand reopening was delayed until September of that year. The Richardsons almost surely had the road improved to prepare for the grand opening. It was during the next 2 decades that the resort reached the height of its grandeur. The present facilities and terracing of the property owe their development to that era. Throughout the 20s and 30s, the Springs emerged as a 5-star resort and hosted celebrities such as Errol Flynn and other Hollywood elite. Flynn resided in the hotel's penthouse during the filming of Robin Hood in Bidwell Park in Chico. The Detroit Tigers came here for off-season training, and a scene from Gone with the Wind was filmed in the hotel lobby. An Armenian hero, General Andranik Ozanian, spent his final days here in 1927. He had saved countless lives through his heroic efforts to protect the Armenian people from extinction during World War I. However, World War II, with its shortages, disruptions, and regulations, took a heavy toll. Following the war, air travel made vacations to other exotic locations affordable, and as holiday tastes continued to change, the local resort business declined. As time went on, Richardson Springs became a seasonal resort, closed in the winters, and due to insurance concerns and declining numbers, the gates were eventually locked. Finally, Richardson Springs was put up for sale and closed its doors in October 1967. However, the Springs did not stay closed for long. In 1968, the property was first leased and then purchased by Cecil and Lillian Cooper, who had a vision to use the facility as a place of refreshing and renewal for Christian groups. It was under the leadership of Cecil and Lillian that the most recent major structure was built, Ebenezer Hall. This building, which can seat several hundred people, was opened in 1969. It took only 3 weeks to build, from the pouring of the first footing to its completion and opening on July 3, 1969. Accounts from Cecil Cooper in his biography tell of a truly miraculous undertaking as volunteers overcame many obstacles to construct this building, which has hosted more than 100,000 people over the past 48 years. In the mid-1980s, YWAM's history at the Springs began. YWAMmer John Dawson was looking for a property in California for a training campus. During his period of searching, he decided to visit Cecil and Lillian to see the Springs of Living Water ministry they had founded. This happened to be at the time when Cecil's health was failing, and he was concerned about how the work of the Springs of Living Water would continue. Realizing their shared vision for restoring, serving, and equipping people, a partnership between the two ministries was formed. So in 1988, a new home for YWAM had been found, and a continuation and growing of Cecil and Lillian's mission had begun. But remember that excellent automobile road from the 1920s? Well, since that period, there has been no record of anyone ever doing more than fixing short sections or filling potholes. Now this historical resort that has been a refreshing and renewal to so many in the past needs your help. Will you partner with us? Will you donate to help us restore the road to Richardson Springs so that it can be a place of renewal for decades to come? Thank you.